to deal with a demon, you have to be this spiritual type personality, to be able to look at it, know how it's trying to coach you, notice how it's trying to gaslight you, and then you just ask the right questions and they go away, because they have no patience, none whatsoever, to prey on the stronger. But to prey on the weak, they'll do it right away, and they'll continue. They'll feed you a little bit, make you feel good, and then pull it right out and take it back. Is that the one that you were thinking about in October, or is this the one that just started to come up in January? I'm kind of curious. You had January. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really fun.
No,
Well, I'm trying not to swear now, because that is bang on. That is bang on. There's 2 projects, and that you've got them like on the money with the date.
Welcome to the Spirit Box podcast, where we explore folklore, magic, the world of the spirits, and everything in between. For episode 95, we are joined by psychic medium Jim Hunt from the TV show Knock Knock Ghost, which is currently available on Amazon Prime. Jim is an acclaimed psychic medium who became aware of his sixth sense at the early age of 5. Born in Montreal to a half-native psychic mother, he was raised, nurtured, and guided by both the living and the dead. Over the years, Jim has helped thousands of people around the globe set and achieve goals both personally and professionally with his unconventional methods. In the show, Jim goes through his foundation experiences and details for us when he first started to realise he was different, through seeing auras in Catholic school, through seeing spirits at a very young age, and how that impacted him, and how he learned to hide it, as it might cause him issues. It's a remarkable show, and we go into so many territories, talking about, as already said, his experiences growing up, seeing spirits, what family spirits want, how they tend to turn up around times of family importance, like seasonal festivities. We talk about contracts from past lives with spirits, with the plethora of entities that are out there. We talk about attachments, demonics, and we get into shapeshifters. It's really interesting stuff. Now, Jim also reads me quite a lot in this, with a staggering level of accuracy, a remarkable level of accuracy actually. So do watch out for that. Do listen out for that, Rod. And in the Plus show, we get into discussing elementals, Djinn, fairies. I mean, it's the Spirit Box, so what would you expect? And, anything else would be a disappointment. But we also get into past lives quite a bit, previous lives, and their impact on current lives. And Jim starts reading me again with remarkable accuracy. So yeah, it was a bit of a tough show to edit this one, so I'm kind of sure, how much is an overshare, that kind of thing. But I think what we have is a happy medium here. Now, if you'd like to hear the Plus show, click the links below and join the Patreon. You'll get this Plus show and all the back catalogue. Well worth it. Now, Jim will be starting his own podcast soon. So do give him a follow on social, as I'm sure he'll be able to update when it's ready. Right, let's get on with the show. Jim Hunt, you are very welcome to the Spirit Box.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this, Dara. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be something very unique again for me. Every client is different. Every podcast is different.
Brilliant. Well, we kind of have a set question to get people going, really, which is, it's not a particularly dramatic one, but it's to help kind of position people to understand your work, what you're about. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your work, and how you got started in this area?
So for me, when people find out about me, and I've talked about this a few times, my biggest deal was at the age of 5, playing on my own, slightly introverted as a child, I guess, playing in a sandbox and alone before school starts, and I'm in this great big thing, and I see an old man kitty corner from the sandbox, and it's a massive sandbox. It's just not one of those 10 by 6. This was 18 by 18 for the neighborhood. So it was quite large. And I'd be looking at this man, and all he would be doing is pointing his finger at a certain spot in the sand. And I'd just still be there with my little pail and shovel and just playing away. And he was becoming not aggressive at all, very friendly, and kept on pointing, but now more movement. So I took a look, and I just sort of took his reaction towards his pointing finger, and I started moving towards that area and digging up in the sandbox. And lo and behold, I had found my beloved GI Joe astronaut outfit and suit and the capsule and everything that was buried there the summer before that I had lost, and I was telling my mother about it. And then when I went to go take a look, the old man was gone. So that was my very, very first medium type meeting or greeting of anyone. But it was nice, obviously. So it was pretty good.
And when did you start to realize that other people weren't experiencing the same thing?
I went to a Catholic school, grade 1. There was no kindergarten because I was born in October, so there's a different way of going to school here in Canada. So I was in class, and all the nuns and priests at that time were asking us what we did for the summer, and please do it in drawings. And all my drawings came out with rainbows around people. And no one else drew any stickmen or dogs or cats or whatever they were looking at with rainbows around them. The nun asked me, "Why do you do that?" And I said, "Doesn't everybody have a rainbow?" It was just simple. There it was, and sent down to the principal's office. "This boy's strange. Go talk to your mother and father, because I don't think that this boy's fit for Catholic school." So those were the times that I started really focusing and noticing
Right.
these things. And then my mother saying, "Oh my goodness, he's got this gift that we've all had, and we're going to have to teach him to be quiet about it or to use it discreetly," for years.
And so it was a familial thing. It came down to your family line.
It did. My mother was very intuitive. My grandmother was better intuitive. We are native Indian, Hungarian with some Irish in us. So it was quite distinctful
Right.
as to what we were able to do.
That's really interesting.
Hmm.
I mean, I would say this as I am Irish, but the amount of guests on the show who experience the other in some capacity that have Irish heritage is remarkable.
It is remarkable. And I have a lot of clients from Ireland that just blow me away with their things that have happened to them, their circumstances,
Yeah.
especially with the dead, when they want to report something back, when the dead have something to say to their family, good, bad, or indifferent,
Right.
they make it known better than any other country that I know.
That's really interesting. We'll have to get into that. Now, you touched on something there around what the dead want, and I
Hmm.
know this is an area that you do a lot of work in. So,
Yes.
can you talk to that? You know, what are your experiences, and you know what do the dead tend to come through for? Are there any kind of set patterns or regular things that come up?
There can be at certain times of the year for me. I find when people are in a holiday spirit, Christmas is the biggest time that I get a lot of connections. People seem to be more at ease, much more comfortable, much more emotional. And that will happen quite often that I'll have a lot of clients saying, "I lit my Christmas tree up, but it kept on going out. And every time I went near it, it started up again. What's going on here?" That's just one instance. Or people are saying the cupboard in the kitchen keeps on opening near the tea closet, because they love tea, I guess. And I just said, "Yeah, maybe someone's trying to contact you." It's always during a high holiday that is very spiritual, through Catholicism or whatever, Christianity, whatever one's belief is. And I find that that is when I get a lot of um, I don't call it interference. I just call it people asking, the dead asking for help, or trying to leave a message if they can. And you have to understand, there are very little time, very few times am I speaking to a spirit that they are giving me a message that could be to someone based in Germany, or someone based in Vancouver, Canada. It's very rarely it's within my own community. Very rare.
That's it's really interesting that it's holidays that people tend to focus on, or that spirits tend to focus on. Though I guess they were relative to them when they were living. But what do they want? I mean, like, could it be anything?
Yeah, here's part of the problem with the dead. They have a message to give, either to calm the family member down, or a friend, or a relationship, to say, hey, it's not all you. Don't blame yourself for not being able to be there on my deathbed, because it's okay. Those are a majority of the messages. Or a daughter or a son saying, I didn't spend enough time with my dad because I was too busy with all of my friends. I feel guilty about not seeing them. When the parent is trying to I'm trying to convince the child or the parent to say, that's okay. That was a part of life. Like, they're
Right.
not upset about it. The dead are the calmest spirits I've ever met in my lifetime. They're, we do have bad and ugly,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't look for them, and they rarely look for me because I don't put up with their crap. So I really don't. And they move on, and they know that I'm a conduit for the good, or for a reason behind what they have to ask.
Right.
I'm not like the other psychic mediums that are looking for the hyper, the stress, or the dark, or sensationalize.
Right.
They're coming in, they give me a message, and poof, they're gone.
Right. And if a spirit is kind of one of those ones that you said are a bit more challenging or muck about, how do you manage them?
I can identify them, and I'm very lucky this way. I will get dark energy that will come to the right side of my body immediately. I know that they're not friendly, or
Right.
they have a purpose or an agenda. So do the heartfelt ones. They do have an agenda, but they're coming with united messages, or they're coming with a lot more calm, a lot more peace. They're not hyper on me. They're not stressed. They're not angry. They're not sad. They're just there to give that message. When you get the right side of the energy, the demonic will show up as a little child for me to try and get their attention, when they're far from a little child.
Right.
They're just a demonic piece of crap that is just trying to do something, and they're throwing it out there. And immediately I just say, hey, so who are you trying to get a hold of? And there'll always be a hesitation in the demonic. They don't, or they're very aggressive to a point that they're not even answering before I finish my sentence. They will try and provoke or pressure me. I just move them aside. I protect myself. I mirror myself. Their reflection goes back to them. I don't even worry about them. It's because I don't have the intent of listening to them at all.
Hmm.
My job here is to help. And that's what I do. I give
Right.
messages.
It's making me think about just that phrase you said. I don't even listen to them. That's um food for thought, because there's an interesting Islamic concept called waswaza.
Was was I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, with the whispering of demons, the whispering of Jinn,
Hmm.
um, and how that can lead people off the
So
path.
quickly.
Yeah,
So quickly.
and it's really great. Actually, it's fantastic that you're here, because that's one of the things that I think about a lot. That particularly in the Western world, where we're only starting to get this back, right? This type of skill
This energy.
back, yeah.
Hmm.
And how many people are suffering from or parasitical attachments or whatever, and they're not getting the help that they need.
I love the comments that you're making here. I find that us in our human form, it's just like a gut feeling. We get to feel uncomfortable. We can watch our own children and they can say with a painted smile, I had such a great day today, but they were bullied and they were too afraid to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
People are the same way. They're getting bullied by this energy. They don't know how to address it.
Right.
And if you just stand up to the dark energy, I love demonologists who can help you when there are situations that are require them, but they
Mm-hmm.
better be in a mediumship type personality, and they better just not think that they're reading a book and that's how they're going to fix it.
Right.
Because to deal with a demon, you have to be this spiritual type personality to be able to look at it, know how it's trying to coach you, notice how it's trying to gaslight you, and then you just ask the right questions and they go away because they have no patience, none
Right.
whatsoever, to to prey on the stronger. But to prey on the weak, they'll do it right away and they'll continue. They'll feed you a little bit, make you feel good, and then pull it right out and take it back from you. It's
Interesting.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about like feeding on the weak and vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
um, we're in such exacerbated times, over the
Yes.
last couple of years, where there's been so much deep trauma for people. I read an account a few years ago. I can't remember exactly where, but it talked about how it was supposed to be an interview with the Djinn. Um, um, a son talking to his mother, but his
Mm-hmm.
mother basically was host to a Djinn, and the Djinn personality would come through sometimes. And this this text arrived up online, I think, somewhere in the noughties. But one of the things that it mentioned when the Djinn was asked, how do you access a person? How do you get in, as it were? And it said that points of trauma were the access points. So when a trauma happened, it caused a fracture in the energy field, the soul, whatever it was described as, and that was the entry point. So it was a point of weakness in one's field.
Psyche. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How I look at this and identify it, I I am someone, and I've always said it out loud, and I'm not afraid. Mental illness is depression for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm unmedicated,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think I'd be able to do my job medicated, to be honest with you. Sorry, Pete.
Okay.
But when I'm down and I'm stressed, I can feel the abundance of energy trying to coerce and say it's going to get
Mm-hmm.
worse, it's going to get this, and it amplifies everything. And I think it looks for a crack in my system.
Yeah.
And understand that the demonic over the light, over any spirit, they have a file on each and every one of us.
Mm.
We've reoccurred. Reincarnation has happened to us. We've done it over and over and over again. I'm getting a little off topic, but we have contracts from our past lives.
Yeah.
We have situations that we've chosen. There's so many different variables here that they take a look at any sign of weakness that we have and build on it and then try and crack us.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask the right questions. I always wait and just say, I'm very good at what I do. So when I'm thinking of whoever I'm doing a session with, going, oh, wow, so your dad passed away at a young age and you're feeling very uncomfortable with this and you feel a little bit abandoned. And they're going, well, yes, that's true. And then the other one is saying he wanted his father dead, is how they would do it.
Right.
They would try and coerce me in trying to say something very negative towards that person so that they can get into my session. So I never introduce that into a session. I'm going,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's undeserving. That shouldn't come out.
Right.
And those are the things that happen. So It's just like the paranormal investigators without a spiritual feeling in their bones, but they go out there and provoke the dark. What's
Yeah,
wrong with you people? Like,
yeah.
what is wrong with you?
That when I see that kind of stuff, to me it's like the equivalent of walking into like a mixed martial arts gym, having never fought before, and I'm just going around provoking, provoking trained fighters. What do you think's going to happen? You know, it's not a
Pushing
good
too
idea.
many buttons. It's
Yeah.
so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm usually prepared for it. I'm usually prepared for the darker energy to try at least something in a session. It doesn't always happen
Yeah.
because now they know that I'm reading all of their tricks, the trickster side of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think just like humans, the we can be very nice on the outside and a painted smile, but we know somehow that they're not right and they're not being honest with us.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a gut feeling on the human side. So that's amplified tenfold
Mm-hmm.
when you're intuitive and of any sort, clairaudio, clairvoyant, all of these people who have beautiful gifts and are getting better and stronger at it, they can define the good, the bad, and the evil
Mm-hmm.
very quickly now.
You mentioned earlier that you would see colors around people and have quite clear kind of like
You, for
clairvoyance.
instance, you, for
Yes,
instance,
indeed, yeah.
you have a there you have a beautiful orange aura from head to toe. It tells me that you're creative right away. It shows the yellow in your heart chakra area, which shows how brave you are. But you have fear at your shoulders because you've been attacked immorally by some people and
Mm-hmm.
never prepared for what they were going to do to you. You stood tall to protect yourself and your family, and you hold that balance in an amazing way, and you don't even see it yourself sometimes. But you're able to come out smelling like a rose, even though you've been thorned by everybody. So I'm giving you credit for the things that you do because you see things, you ask the right questions, and you debate it to a point where you're not allowing anyone to attack you, which is good.
Oh, thank you. For those of you who are listening, I'm grinning ear to ear. Yeah, thank you. And that I agree with that.
Calling a spade, right, is what we do here. So, but the idea behind a lot of this, as you know, is I'm not doing it for sensationalism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it so that a point has been proven that you're on your path, that you're doing the things that you needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is an outlet. You understand your children, you understand your family, you understand your dynamics, you understand your temperament, and you're able to you're not there to control it for us. You're there to control it for you. You're in control of your destiny, and you've changed so often that you don't know. Even sometimes spring is hard for you because you're everywhere and you want to change again and you want to redevelop and understand everything. So when a psychic comes into reading or doing a session with someone, we have to clear all of that annoying stuff that
Right.
doesn't belong to us and give you answers that you're looking for. But I also wanted to set a ground for you that you're making change again. You're doing it.
Awesome. That's really interesting to hear, and it's one of those ones where I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I'm like, oh God, I really really want to pull that thread, and I'm like, yeah, but that's so cool.
You're a man that likes closure.
Yeah, yeah, no, I do. I like to get stuff done. And it's interesting you mentioned the creative work. Because I'm about to start. I've just kicked off another project.
Is that the one that you were thinking about in October, or is this the one that just started to come up in January?
It's
I'm kind of
January.
curious. You had January. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really fun.
Love it.
Well, I'm trying not to swear now because that is bang on. That is bang on. There's 2 projects and that you've got them like on the money with the date. Yeah.
But it's your guides that are telling you. You
Right.
understand? That's
Right.
why. Because
Okay.
you need that verbal in your head to say that you're on the right track, and you are.
Okay.
That's fun for me. You see, this is fun.
Well, I'm enjoying it. This is great. I want to stop asking you questions and
this is what I'm here for, and this is what I want people to understand. I'm good at my profession.
Yeah.
But there are so many other amazing psychics, amazing mediums, amazing healers who are now starting to come out of the woodwork, and I bless them in so many different ways because I learn from them so much, because they give it to you without asking for anything back. And I do the same. I've been doing this since I was a child and getting in trouble for it because I'm giving answers and people sometimes don't want to hear them,
right.
but I'm doing it anyway. But I find in Ireland, in Scotland, in the UK itself, there is such a strong presence of energy in a positive way, not in a negative way, that is coming out. And if you come to North America, we're still closed-minded, we're frigid, we're unfriendly. There's a whole dimension of us that are trying to change that. But I'm only one person in a population of only 5% who believe in the paranormal anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of people who are, in that 5% who believe in it and experience it. There's still a sizable fraction in there. Move effortlessly from percentages to fractions. Who really aren't comfortable with it, or like we were saying at the start, like don't know what the hell's happening, and I don't have to go too far from home for that. Like my own father is the 7th child of a 7th child, and he sees things all the time, and he's not happy about it.
And he isn't, only because you understand your father is a heavy, his hands are massive, by the way.
Yeah.
Your father is a very determined person, a determined soul, and he wanted answers that were accurate and in front of him. The spirit world will scare him because they're giving him answers that are truthful, but he doesn't want to admit to it because then he would be seen or deemed as crazy.
Yeah. And incidentally, my dad is he's a master goldsmith and hand engraver, so his hands are incredibly strong. Like I still can't beat him in the squashy handshake game.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But your father comes from the Egyptian era as well. So, and he's the one who did the calligraphy. He's the one who created the artwork that was given to others for us to understand in this day.
Okay.
So your father's a visionary of many sorts.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Because I think about family lines a lot, and like we say, we discuss kind of gifts coming down through families, and you mentioned kind of contracts in previous incarnations, but they also come down through family lines as well.
They do.
And is that something that you've come across in your work?
Every day.
Right.
I'm a life coach, an intuitive life coach, and I deal with a lot of clients who've got blockages for themselves because of the contracts that come from not just the past life that they endured, but probably 10 or 15 that they haven't been able to sever a contract from.
Right.
That can go as far back as, all of a sudden someone learned how to make fire, but he was murdered for it and he took the credit for it, as an example of something,
Right.
And then you're coming back to say, I invented this, and then it's always taken away from them. So everything that they've tried was always taken away from them. And they're a great explorer, a great inventor. And sometimes I just say, let's sever these contracts that you owed from the past. You no longer have to do that. And it's a quick ceremony of letting go of the past and just saying, I'm here for my future, I'm here for my children, and then boom, everything goes away.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it sounds easy. It is easy, but you have to believe it yourself too, to go there.
Right.
But it's life changing, it's life altering, not to be able to have to do what we're presently doing that we don't like. We change it. I did 17 years ago, and I've never looked back.
And with that, because I need to gather my thoughts on this, because I think again that's another one. It's just so important, like to understand that our perspective of ourselves is extremely narrow, you know, and when you start to kind of add the complexity of family lines, of contracts with spirits, you know, contracts with previous incarnations,
Angelics,
yeah, all
dimensions,
kinds of
ETs. I can go on about all of them.
Yeah. Well, this is the place for
it. Here we go. I'm sure your audience doesn't see it, but you see the painting behind me.
Yes.
So that is done by a psychic artist. That is what she sees behind me every day.
Wow.
The dark and the light.
There's so many spirits in it.
You have the same thing. Everybody does.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't interpret it that way. We always, the lonely think they're alone, but they're not. The depressed think that we're alone, and we're not seeing things, but we're not. We're having conversations, we think, with ourselves, but we're answering other things. We're not crazy people here. We're just, the spirit world is just trying to help us move forward into this reincarnated life that we've decided and chose our parents and did all of that kind of stuff. And this is where we are. But we have to come to grips and come to terms that, hey, for the rest of my life, I am just going to be a jeweler or an engraver. And that's who I am, and I'm strong at it. But he might have wanted to pursue writing. Your father could be a great artist or author if he wanted to be. He has a way with words, but he just doesn't put it out there.
He used to write. Yeah.
Thank you. Because I have you here, so I'm reading you as we're working. This is what helps me in interviews.
That's I mean, how many bullseyes have we got now? That's
I don't know. Thank you for the affirmations, though. I do appreciate it. I do.
I know. Well, I appreciate you putting it out there. Yeah, it's really intriguing stuff, and I'm particularly fascinated with the ideas of like contracts with spirits going down through families, because that seems to be happening quite a lot, you know, with people who are experiencing things, seeing things that all of a sudden kind of just get switched on. Right, didn't happen yesterday, but now it happens today, and there seems to be a correlation in that instance where when they get to the bottom of what's happening, that it's either a past life contract for them as the same soul, or an ancestor who has done something for, certainly when I've read about it or seen it with Djinn, that it's a magician in the past who's done a pact.
And a lot of that happens, and a lot of it is there at all times. What I've learned to understand is when we have a contract based on something we've done as a team, those are the easier contracts to break.
Okay.
But if we have a contract with our mom, our dad, our brothers, our siblings, best friends, somehow there's a united side to that is very difficult to end that relationship, to end that contract, to say, I am no longer responsible for what is happening in our world today between you and I. You have to go left and I'm going to go right. I'm still here if you want to talk to me. 99.9% of the time, it's horrible to say, When they go left, they stay left. They never come back to see you. Family and or friend. You lose them. You
Right.
do lose them. It's a sad state of affairs, but it's a contract that you no longer deserve. And that allows your soul level to move up higher, to dimensionally move further, to feel more united with yourself. I learned to let go of contracts only this year. Well, not this year, in this lifetime. That's a better way to say it.
Right.
That I no longer feel responsible for anybody except for me,
Right.
my 5-year-old daughter, and my wife. But that contract is a living contract.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a contract on myself to say I need to take care of her when I'm dead.
Right.
I don't want that responsibility.
Mm-hmm. And
is that weird?
No, no. I mean, to that end, you know, how do people know, or how do they find out if there is a contract with, you know, somebody who's passed on, or, you know, there's an echo of something?
It is like an echo. It's a familiarity. It's going like, my God, because people say I met my soulmate. There are no soulmates. Sorry, not in my world anyway. What it is it's a contract, and it's almost familiar. It's almost like, are we doing this all over again? Is this like a deja vu?
Right.
Why am I feeling so uncomfortable with you? Something bad is about to happen because I'm in your presence or you're in mine.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make that change. As soon as you feel uncomfortable with something, I am telling people to question that and just take 2 steps back for a little while, whether it's a week, a day, a month, or a year. And then all of a sudden, your life energy changes. You become healthier, you become more aware, you become less despondent. You all of a sudden, the circle of friends that you once had are not there anymore, but a new circle comes. There's always something that's very delicate in the background, always working towards being more positive. If
Right.
you have to let go of family, that's our biggest deal as human beings, is letting go of family. And I'm not saying that that's what we need to do, but in 60% of the cases that I work for as a life coach, they have to let go of their family.
Right.
Take a year off. Take a year off. Go do what you need to do and stop telling everybody what you're going to do. Don't give anybody something to have ammunition against you. That
Mm.
is not a human thing. That is a contract.
Mm. That's a really interesting reflection. When you met at the end there, where we mentioned stop telling people what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about that a lot, really, and actually the importance of keeping your peace, and the importance
Yes.
of not oversharing. Um, and I have a bit of a soapbox. I'm always giving out about social media and what have you.
Look what
But
we do for a living.
yeah, yeah, totally. The bitter irony. Uh, but but um, but I think it's important that you don't always talk about what you're doing. Not everybody has to know, and not
No.
everybody wants to know. And there's some people that shouldn't know. You know, that it's not good for you for them to know. I think it's a good reflection.
And a lot of it, I find spiritually, is we're sabotaging ourselves from a previous lifetime.
Right.
And we fall right back into the same circle and go, oh man, I got another 10 years of this. And once you realize that you don't have to tell anybody anything that you're doing, that's your silence is golden, and watch them look at the accolades afterward and just say, I didn't know you were going to do that. And you tell them, I'm sorry, but I had to do this on my own. And I didn't need the support because I knew I could do it on my own.
Yeah.
And as an intuitive, as a psychic, I'm good at my job,
Yeah.
but I don't need to tell you that. I feel good at it. So I'm
Mm.
not going to like explode over that or feel narcissistic about my personality, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like you don't want that either, but you live your life. You still care about people, you still open a door for an old lady or you help them cross the street.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good things, but that doesn't change who you are.
Mm-hmm. Does it ever become overwhelming?
Oh my gosh, yesterday was the hardest day of my life. Just on the sadness of others that I was
Oh God, yeah.
out during Mother's Day, because a lot of people, I have a lot of older family members on the street that I live. I don't think very many of them have any parents that are alive anymore, especially their parents.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this energy of sadness around them. And I'm sort of going on with a real smile and just saying, even though you lost your mom, imagine what kind of a meal did she make you? And then they perk up and just say, "Oh, spaghetti was my favorite meal, and my mother used to make it with homemade bread." I'm going, "Wow, isn't that a better thing?" And all of a sudden, their aura colors change because
Right.
it's bringing to a memory of something memorable and happy instead of the existence of, "Oh my goodness, my mother died 2 days before Mother's Day."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a very different Mother's Day in Canada, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are a
Yeah.
month earlier than us, or
That's
in the
right. Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
But that's an example, and
Hmm.
it was a hard day yesterday.
Hmm. And you mentioned their auras changing. Um,
Mm.
have you ever seen, or is it possible to? Is it possible to see things like attachments in auras?
All the time. My job is to remove the attachments from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've moved two from you since we've had a conversation, just to let you know, on your right side.
Oh well, I appreciate it. No, I've
One at
no
the
doubt.
top of your head, the one that gives you the headache,
Right.
and the other one that's inside your ribs near your heart. I had to remove that.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting because I actually have been getting chest pains.
And they wanted to create that anxiety because they want you to not be able to be the success that you already are.
Right.
Nobody wants us to be a success, my friend.
Mm. Mm.
They get upset about that. And we should be sharing our successes. That gives people the ability on an intuitive side to feel better about their skill set and what they do, because we're all intuitive.
Hmm.
We're all spiritual. We all have an ability. It was just yanked from us as a child. It was just pulled away from us.
Okay.
For me, I was just left alone to be Jim Hunt. Go ahead. Whoever they are with you, have fun with them. It was good.
And in terms of those like attachments, or say parasites more,
Yes.
what
Beautiful.
what do they look like?
So, in the spirit world, for me, they can't hide their sorcery or their darkness. I'll see them as battleship gray. I'll see them as dark entities in the sense of their movement might be with a white or a golden light as they're trying to let us think that that's who they are,
Yeah.
but it's followed immediately with a dark energy, just continuing the attachment.
Hmm.
They're always given away.
Right.
And it's just like when we're alive, because we know that somebody's just being too good all of a sudden. And why are they so good? They want something or they do something. And that's not with everybody, but
Mm.
I'm just trying to give an example of that feeling. You'll get that gut feeling going, wow, that's not right somehow. But they know that we see them. Any good psychic, any good medium, a psychic can feel them.
Yeah.
A medium can feel them and see them.
Hmm.
And the clear audio can hear their real voice because it's distinctive. And it's just, they come out and we know that they're different completely than anybody else.
Mm.
I can identify it, and I know that every psychic medium can.
Yeah. No, yeah, I resonate with that. I get a vibe that's like I feel it, and I'm like, it's like, nope, that's a wrong one. Definitely get that vibe.
Yeah, but you'll still step into the room because you're curious. That's part of your problem.
Yep, that's definitely been the case.
Yes, it has.
Yep, and I mean, to that end, where kind of a lot of this like show started was around kind of some of my adventures traveling around, particularly in India, and that's where I would say I spiritually got my ass kicked. Got a bit of a kicking. Got warnings in dreams not to go, all that kind of stuff. Still
I'm
went.
watching your colors change as you
Yeah.
talk about it. It's still
Yeah.
upsetting.
Yeah, it was well, it was a life changing experience. That's I'd always suspected things were different, and I came back from this trip going, well, they are. Our understanding of the world is extremely, extremely shallow and 2D compared to the real reality. And that's it was a very challenging thing to process and really kind of come back into the world, and then start dealing with direct debits and all that kind of stuff.
Very good. It's true.
I was just asking you banal stuff, and you're like, magic and spirits are real.
And then we're looked at very strange.
Yep, definitely.
And it's because we stepped into a different realm.
Mm-hmm.
You moved up on a different plane,
mm-hmm.
and you're dimensionally now that much higher in a soul level, because you caught up to a lot of your souls
mm-hmm.
at a very early age now, where you're starting to question the spirit world and ask the right questions to help you grow further,
mm-hmm.
which will help your children, which will help your friends, which will help you literally.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Well, it's been a very interesting experience as a whole, because like it's certainly, while I wouldn't say it was the first domino in the chain, there's definitely been quite a few since then. And it's actually made me realize that stuff in like my early life was related, that like the spirit timeline, the timeline of spirit interaction is spans years, and stuff that like happened 20 years ago won't make sense until like now, which is quite an interesting thing to get your head around, and can be quite.
Sorry.
Ah, you're grand. Can be quite surprising.
What I find is, how people say in a near-death experience that their life passes by them so quickly and they see so many different things.
Yeah.
We do the same thing in our living bodies, that we've seen things and they're making more sense. It was just done in the silent era, and it took us a long time to catch up to realize, oh, my soul perpetuated a higher move, or I'm feeling a little bit stronger here. I know my weaknesses now, and I've learned not to share my weaknesses because people will take advantage. And you learn to be stronger at your gifts, and then you share them with people that are like-minded instead of trying to tell the world who you are.
Yeah.
The world will find out by itself.
I like that.
It's all I was ever taught. It's fun.
And I get a real sense from you of like wanting to steward and mentor to a degree, people who are starting to experience these type of things.
It is my dream to be able to do that, to be able to give people an idea or a sensibility that you're not crazy. Don't let somebody else give you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your belief system. Hold on to it. I'm not going to tell you because you might see cryptids and I don't. That doesn't mean that there aren't any.
Yeah.
I don't phase any of these things out. I can determine that there are people who are definitely have an intuitive part of them, but they don't know how to open it up, and they're wishing that they can feel this or wishing they can feel that. Sadly, I let them know that. They get mad at me very quickly. But I just say, it's amazing. Keep on believing, keep on trying, try to become less inhibited with the things that you feel, because the desire of what you want is so bad that it's not working for you, because you are actually closing your mind, not opening it up at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you let them be.
Yeah.
I let my daughter be. She's 5. Like I said before our conversation, my wife and I were lying down in bed with her, reading her a book towards Christmas last year. And she said, "Mommy, Daddy, your hands look like rainbows." And I'm going, wow. So she's seeing aura color. She's seeing what I saw as a child. I'm going, isn't that cool? She says, yeah. Okay, I'm tired now. Can I go to sleep? That's all you need to do. You don't have to oh, it's okay, because she'll come back and ask you more questions down the road, and she has.
Yeah. Like I've been looking through your bio background, and
Hmm.
I noticed Shapeshifters were in there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I got to hear more.
Shapeshifters don't scare me, but they are an elusive bunch of paranormal energy that can take on a form on any dimension. They are such of a higher class ET type personality. They are not human at all, but they can take on our forms. They can take on anything. They are a scary bunch. And what happens here is a true, and you can ask any psychic on any show that you would ever do, when you do see shapeshifters, shapeshifters know that psychics can see through them. Mediums can really see through them, and we see their real form. And it's not pretty. It's what you consider rookie shadow people, the dark shadows.
Right.
They're not evil. Dark shadows are not evil. They're
Yeah.
learning. They're in the process of learning,
Right.
but they're not there to hurt you.
Okay. That's a subject that I've always been interested in. The kind of like the shadow people, and
They're guide. They guide us.
yeah.
They're telling you see me going through that wall? Get over here because there's energy over there. Come on over and see this. Come
Okay.
over and feel it. They're the ones who open up an obelisk or the where you have the paranormal investigators going in and they open up their electronic things, which they need so that they can give the audience an idea of what
Yeah.
a psychic medium would be seen. Because I can just point and just say, well, your father's sitting right there. What's going on with you?
Hmm.
You know? So it's just how it works. And um, it's the shadow people are trying to give us that idea that there's more around us. Just pay attention to it. But shapeshifters are dangerous. They put you in peril if they can. We're a
As I,
game to them.
oh, so is they purposely put us in peril?
They do.
Mhm.
They do. Who are not aware of them, I'm assuming. But
Right.
because they don't scare me, they're unpredictable. I
Mhm.
don't know what they do. But when you confront them, they drop whatever they're doing and they leave. They walk away. I've
Okay.
had two encounters in airports of
Wow.
all places. Yeah,
So it could be very possible that people have interacted with shapeshifters and have no idea.
absolutely. Totally. And and this is where I don't know how to cross a line or talk about it because I don't know, and I
Mhm.
wish I did. This is where the ET formation, because we live amongst ET and ET live amongst us.
Mhm.
Sorry if I'm going off a little bit too much for people, but
No, no, go
they're
for it.
here. That
Yeah.
energy's here. They're here just as much as we're here. They've taken on our form. We've taken on their. The sightings that we've had over COVID have been in Canada alone, in our province of Ontario, 2,000 sightings, 1,000 a year, where it used to be 800 every 5 years. You know, all of a
Wow.
sudden people are looking into the skies. People are looking at things taking off out of our Lake Ontario. They're seeing things that they've never seen before. It's very interesting for me to sit there and watch or listen again silently and just observe and learn. It's not for me to say.
Well, this has been a genuinely remarkable conversation. I'm going to have a real trouble editing this one, but it's been
I
an
know.
extraordinary conversation, and I'm really, really grateful for your time and for your insight.
Thank you.
You've definitely um, got some remarkable gift, and there's been quite a series of bullseyes there. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, for those of you who are listening, yeah, I haven't seen my face drop on video. You mightn't be hearing anything, but yeah, I can assure you my facial expression is giving away a lot. Um, and Jim, you mentioned your own podcasts coming up soon. When can
Yeah,
people expect that?
I'm hoping to have. I was hoping to have it the first week of May,
Mhm.
but I'm in the midst of COVID right now. Believe it or
Right.
not, after 4 vaccines,
Oh, no
I
way.
have COVID.
I'm sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, and I'm getting better. I would not have been able to do this 2 days ago.
Right.
And this is how quickly I'm healing. So it's going to be called White Noise. Um, the guests that I'm going to be on are you and me, people.
Yeah.
Not all authors, not anybody that is like well to do or not to do, just regular Joes experiencing things that they want to talk about, have fun with. I can ask them questions. They're going to ask me questions. The show is going live, which is even more
Oh wow, fantastic.
scary.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a live half hour of caller call in. The only way that they'll get on the air is if they actually show themselves through Zoom.
Right.
They're going to be coming on. That person needs to be seen because I read through the eyes,
Fantastic.
and it helps. So that's going to be
Yeah.
very good for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, it sounds fantastic. I'll
Thank
have
you.
to get the links off you.
I
Hopefully,
will
by the
send
time
those.
this goes out, we can get the links and put them in the show notes.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll have you on as a guest, and we'll talk some
That'd
stuff.
be a pleasure. It'd be a pleasure.
That would be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
um, Everything that anyone can get a hold of me, it's jimhuntofficial.com is my website. On all social media, just look up Jim Hunt Official from TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. That's who I am.
Wonderful.
Very simple.
Well, Jim, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the Spirit Box, and you're welcome back anytime. And
Thank you.
looking forward to hearing your show.
Thank you, Dira. This was awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing our show.
Wunderbar. Well, that was fantastic. Really personal show, this one for me, because Jim did get into some remarkable territory and yeah, read me like a book, which was quite jarring, yeah, but also quite wonderful, very enjoyable, and very accurate. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you fancy a reading from Jim, do check out his website. You can see that in the show notes, and do the usual. Alright, that's it from me. Talk to you later. Bye.